Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusantadhami Bhagavad-Gita Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Namaskars to all on this platform. It's a brilliant Sunday morning, and today in this session we go deeper into leadership and what does Bhagavad Gita speak about leadership, the trait theories of leadership, and also the model, the Netritva model of leadership, which we have developed specifically for this particular course. I will present my screen, and beyond that, we will take it forward. We have discussed this particular slide in the last class, where we said the definition for leadership as per Oxford Dictionary, the action of leading a group of people or an organization. Cambridge Dictionary gives the definition as the set of characteristics that make a good leader. And we also saw that leadership is the accomplishment of a goal through the direction of human assistants. The Harvard Business Review gives this viewpoint on leadership: the man who successfully marshals his human collaborators to achieve particular ends is a leader. A great leader is one who can do so day after day, year after year, in a variety of circumstances. It also says that a leader wears multiple caps on the same day and across functions. Now, one of the most sought after textbooks on organizational behavior is Stephen Robbins. Stephen Robbins defines leadership as an ability. It is an ability to influence a group towards the achievement of a vision or a set of goals. This very clearly says that we need to build an ability within ourselves. Stephen Robbins, the latest edition, the 18th edition, talks about the ability to influence. And there is a beautiful textbook on leadership, which is authored by Richard Daft. In that book, he says leadership is an influence relationship among leaders and followers. It is basically an influence what a leader has on the followers, and the followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes. So here we talk about influence of the leader on the follower. We talk about an intent to change. It's not stability. It is an intent to change. And it talks about focus on outcomes, outcome-driven leadership. And also it talks about shared purposes. So with these definitions on leadership, let us move forward and see what contemporary leadership theories say. And very quickly, we go into what Bhagavad-Gita says about leadership. The contemporary leadership theories speak about trait theory. This is a very important aspect in focus of this particular course, because the focus is on personal qualities and characteristics. The trait theory is personal qualities and characteristics. How do we develop ourselves? How do we raise ourselves? How do we develop the qualities within us? How do we imbibe the qualities within us? These are important aspects of leadership, of a leader. Then the metamorphosis went on to behavioral theory. The focus on what a leader does rather than what he is. The trait theory talks about what a leader is. Behavioral theory talks about what the leader does. And then the metamorphosis goes on to contingency and situational leadership. It deals with in a particular context, in a particular situation, in the situational different variables that determine the leader's behavior. How does he behave in a particular situation? That basically was bundled into the contingency or situational leadership theory. Then we talk about, when it comes to the team, we talk about the influence theory and the relational theory. The influence theory talks about examining the influence process of leaders and followers. Here comes the most important, charismatic leadership. A leadership vision and organizational culture are all related here. These are all going to be expanded at various places during our course. Relational theory is how leaders and followers interact and influence each other. Then we have a path goal theory. This theory suggests that a leader should have clarity on the goal and provide support, information, and resources. And then we have the leader-member exchange theory. Here it talks about a leader and follower have unique relationships that vary in quality. There can be in groups, there can be out groups. Different leaders have different leadership traits. Different followers have got their own traits. Here we talk about a very important aspect of personality. The personality definition given by Gordon Allport, it says that it is a personality means, see, many people, we ask them a question. What is personality? They say the way the person looks is personality of a person. Sorry, it is only the physical features of a person. The way the person acts is personality. But Gordon Allport gives a comprehensive definition of personality, one of the most inclusive definitions of personality. It says it is a dynamic coordination. It is a dynamic coordination of all those psychophysical characteristics within an individual which determine his unique adjustment to the external environment. This is one of the most comprehensive definitions of personality. It is dynamic. The first word is dynamic, because what is dynamic? The coordination or organization between the psychological characteristics and physical characteristics. The psychological and physical characteristics, the coordination or organization is dynamic. It changes from morning to afternoon, from afternoon to evening, from evening to night. When there is an organization between our physical characteristics and psychological characteristics. Psychologically, we might be extremely motivated to attend a concert in the evening. We would say that 5 o'clock today, Sunday evening, I will attend that concert. This you decide at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At about 4 o'clock, you're having a severe headache. Your mind tells, the head tells the mind, I am aching. Should you not give me some rest? The mind says, let me go to sleep. So very importantly, we need to understand that the physical characteristics and the psychological characteristics, the organization differs from time to time and it is dynamic. So dynamic organization of all those psychophysical characteristics which lie within an individual. It is within an individual which determines his or her unique adjustment. That is why every person is unique. The personality of every creation is unique. We need to understand that. That is why we need to have our goals. We should not be photocopying somebody else. So, unique characteristics within an individual with determine his or her unique adjustment to the external environment. Repeating this definition, we go to the next slide. Personality is the dynamic organization of all those psychophysical characteristics within an individual which determine his or her unique adjustment to the external environment. Since the personalities are different, the relationships may vary in quality. We may have in groups who gel with us. A leader may have out groups. But here, this particular course talks about not having in groups and out groups, having samabhavana on the entire team, entire creation, entire society. Now, we saw in the last session that leadership is at three levels. One is at the individual level, one is the team level, and one is the organizational, societal, or institutional level. When we are talking about the trait theories, we talk about the individual level. When we talk about the relational theories, we talk about the team level and also at the societal level. Now, how did leadership evolve? From the 1920s, the contemporary management, see on the left side, the arrow going on top, talks about the conventional evolution of leadership. And top-down approach is the Bhagavad-Gita way of leadership. We need to understand. This is a beautiful slide, which when understood, we will realize how much time, how many years, how many centuries we have buried this particular handbook, this particular manual, and we have lost so much of time. The first era, the conventional contemporary leadership, the evolution talks about 4 eras. The first era is called as the great person leadership, a great person era. It talks about a person who has some characteristics, some traits. He is looked up as a leader. We don't see the other things in that person. He has got something, so he is looked up. Here, the aspect of ego, the aspect of high-headedness, the aspect of autocratic nature is not taken into consideration, the great person leadership. The trait theories of leadership have got their place here. Then this generally it arose in the 1920s. Then the second era is that of the relational leadership. When we are talking of relational leadership, we talk of the behavior theories and the contingency theories of leadership, where it arose as to leadership is not in isolation. Leadership is not in a forest. Leadership is not in Himalayas. We need to have those leadership qualities. Only if we have a follower, we are leaders. So the relational leadership, where the behavior, how is the behavior apart from the traits? How do I apply to a particular situation? That is the second era of leadership. Then came the 1970s when we talk about the team leadership, the influence theories of leadership, the charismatic leadership. Then we talk of the level 5 leadership or the era 4 leadership. Collins, in his book, Good to Great, he uses this word, level 5 leadership. Here comes the relational leadership, the transformational leadership. A leader who is learning every second. A leader who unlearns every second, adapts to the situation, adapts to the society, abnegates himself to the society, and learns till the body drops. Lifelong learning is the key to success. Keep educating yourself. K-E-Y. Keep educating yourself is the key to success. So the era 4 leadership talks about learning leadership. And if you have to learn, we need to empty ourselves. And that emptying ourselves is the process of humility. We need to be humble. We need to realize that we do not know everything. We have just taken a speck of sand on the riverbed. The river is vast. The sea is vast. But I have taken just one speck of sand on the seashore. Or the woods are deep. Robert Frost beautifully says in his poem, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Robert Frost talks about this. This particular aspect will give you that humility. Collins, in his book, Good to Great, talks about level 5 leadership, and level 5 leadership talks about humility of a leader. Now, Bhagavad-Gita starts from humility. It starts from humility, then it goes down and it shuns the aspect of ego. He says, avajananti mam mudhaha manushim tanumashritaha. People who are egoistic do not realize me, do not reach the goal. We will come in detail to that particular verse. So what is conventional evolution of leadership, which is a bottom-up approach? The Bhagavad Gita way of leadership is the top-down approach. It talks about humility. It talks about continuous learning at the top. And now we will step into what Bhagavad Gita talks about in terms of humility. We are talking about the second chapter, 7th verse of the second chapter, where Arjuna, the extremely capable Arjuna who had realized all the 64 Vidyas, had imbibed all the 8 Siddhis, he surrenders to Krishna. He says, I am confused. I am not aware of any other means. I do not know anything. I surrender to you. Please tell me what is right. Was Arjuna not knowing things? Why did Krishna select Arjuna to bestow Bhagavad-Gita? Yudhishthira was there. He was an Ajata Shatru. He had all the qualities. But Arjuna was selected not because he did not know anything. Arjuna had the knowledge of all the 64 Vidyas. He had to take action. And for taking action, he had to inspire Arjuna. Arjuna was a disciple who had known everything, but still he was sulking out of attachment. To bring him out of attachment, to bring him out of instability, to rise in action, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. Here, with all humility, in the 13th chapter again, when we talk of 20 qualities which a leader has to imbibe, there the first word, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam, acharya upasanam shaucham, maunam atmavinigraha, indriyartheshu vairagyam. Those are some of the qualities which we will see later. But today, because humility is another aspect which we will take up in the second stage of this course when it comes to team or relational leadership theory. When we are talking of humility, the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter is extremely important. Extremely important. He surrenders to the teacher. He surrenders to the preceptor. He says, Karpanya dosho pahatasvabhavaha, pruchhamitvam dharma sammudha chetaha, yat shreyasyam nischitam bruhitan me, shishyasteham shathi mam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. When ladies say prapanna, prapannam, it is basically the gender difference of the nature of not being aware of any means. Karpanya dosha upahata swabhava. I am coming here with a swabhava. I am coming here with a nature of not knowing anything. I am confused. We will look at the meaning of Karpanya as given by the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad as we go on. Being subject to confusion as what is right and what is wrong, what is dharma and what is adharma, dharma sammudha chetaha. Dharma sammudha chetaha, I do not know what to do. I come and beseech you. I come at your feet. I fall at your feet. Dharma sammudha chetaha. First, I am confused. I do not know anything. I do not know what is right, what is wrong. I now ask you a question. I am asking pruchhamitvam. To you, dharma sammudha yat shreyasyam nischitam syat, whatever certainly of utmost good to me, yat shreyaha me iti. To me, what is extremely good, yat shreyaha me iti. Bruhi, tell me, Bruhi, tell me that. Under what? In what bhava? In what manobhava? In what psychology I have come? With what mentality I have come? Aham te shishyaha. I have come as your disciple. Shadhi mam. Instruct me. Instruct me. Who has surrendered unto you, tvam prapannam. I have surrendered to you. This is one of the most important verses in the Bhagavad Gita. It has to be a nitya anusandhana every day. At least once we will have to recite this verse, the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Karpanya dosho upahata svabhavaha. Karpanya dosha upahata svabhavaha. Prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha. Yat shreyasyan nischitam bruhi tanme. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad gives a beautiful definition for what is a kripana. Karpanya dosha is with the manobhava of a kripana I have come. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yagyavalkya tells Gargi, Jova yetad aksharam gargi aveditva asmat lokat praiti sakripanaha. Here we are giving the definition of a kripana. Who is a kripana? We are all kripanas in one way or the other. So this particular course starts from where we are and it will culminate in where we need to be. We are all kripanas. It says, Yova yetad aksharam gargi aviditva asmat lokat praiti sakripanaha. Ya etad aksharam gargi viditva asmat lokat praiti sabbrahmanaha. 2 words are important here. One is kripana and one is brahmana. Brahmana, it is in the Rudi Nama, means in generally it is used for an ashrama. But who is a Brahmana? Who is a Kripana? A Brahmana is a person who strives to realize, number 1, his true nature, number 2, God realization, who every day moves and marches forth millimeter by millimeter, centimeter by centimeter, yard by yard, who marches forth towards his true destination, towards God realization, towards understanding his true nature, towards understanding himself. He is a Brahmana. This also is depicted in the verse Brahmajanati Brahmanaha. Janmana jayate Shudraha. Karmana jayate Dvijaha. Vedadhyayena Vipratvam. Brahmajanati Brahmanaha. A person who goes towards Brahman, who goes towards understanding himself, who marches towards God realization, he is a Brahmana. But who is a Kripana? A Kripana is a confused man who does not solve the problems of his life as a human, who thus quits the world as an animal. He lives with these basic instincts. He needs to satisfy his hunger at that moment. He needs whatever he wants at that moment. He has no self-control. A person who is born through the mother's womb in the same maturity level, 99% of the people also march towards the grave. We need to understand that every murmur of the heart takes us closer to the grave. Kalakshepo nakartavyaha kshenamayuhu kshane kshane yamasya karuna nasti kartavyam harikirtanam. This is told in the Bhagavan Nama Sankirtanam. Kalakshepo nakartavyaha. Do not procrastinate. Do not waste time. Do not come with the reverse of Kabir's Doha. Kal kare so aaj kare so ab, pag mein paralay hoegi, bhauri karega kab. People say, aaj kare to kal kare so parson, itni jaldi kya padi hai, jeena hai barson. Do not procrastinate. Life is short. We need to understand. We need to upgrade ourselves from the animalistic instincts, from the physiological needs what we have. A person who lives this particular world without realizing or without realizing his self or God realization, he is a kripana. A person who is extremely egoistic, tries to only pursue worldly pleasures. Nanu, nannadu, yemba, narakadolage biddu is what Dasa says, Purandara Dasa says. Nanu, nannadu, yemba, narakadolage biddu. It is mine. I am the creator. This is true hell. In that hell, people have fallen. Most of the people have fallen in that particular hell. Nanu nannadu emba narakadolage biddu is what is said. Alvars beautifully say, Neer numadu yen ivai ver mudal maithu. He never says, Nan yennadu yen ivai. He says, Neer numadu yen ivai. Neer numadu. That means you yourself, in that particular feeling of you and yourself, pluck it out from the root. Pluck it out. Where mudal maith, he says. Pluck it out from the root. Very importantly, we need to understand that we have to march towards self-realization. And that self-realization, we need to surrender ourselves. Like how Arjuna surrendered in the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. How we will have to surrender? Like how Samartha Ramadas said, "O Lord, you know everything, what is happening inside me. Sakala janashi maje antharasthiti magatujam prati kaya vinanti he dayaluvan. He Kripaluvan, He Dayaluvan, Swami Raghava." Samartha Ramadas in his Habang, he says, Sakala Janashi Maje Antarastiti. You know everything. What is happening inside me? What is there for me to ask you? You will give me everything. That is what is important here. Kripanaha is a confused man who does not go towards self-realization, who lives like an animal, sense gratification, and without understanding the self, a man who departs, the soul departs the body, such man goes as a kripana. Karpanya dosho bahata subhava. Puchhamitvam dharma sammudha cheta. Yaksheyasyam nischitam bruhitan me. Tell me certainly, I have come here with the feeling of shisha, student. Very important in our Indian knowledge systems. There are 3 words which are used for a learner. The first one is Antevasan. Taittiriya Upanishad beautifully talks about this Antevasan. Antevasinam anushasthi. He gives the anushasana. The second term is vidyarthi. The third term is shishya. An antevasi is one who is in the edge, who is neither in worldly pleasure, who wants to go into transcendental knowledge, who is at the edge, who wants to go, who has not yet gone, who is not fully here. He wants to go. He is an antevasi. The second one is a vidyarthi, one who makes an effort to learn. Vidyarthi, who makes an effort to learn. The third one, one who is sincere in learning, one who imbibes what the Guru has told. The effort is serious, sincere, who surrenders himself to the learning space, who surrenders himself to the teacher, who surrenders himself to the content. He is called Shishya. Shishya means disciple. Disciple comes from the word discipline. That is why Arjuna did not go and fall at Krishna's feet saying that I come here as a Vidyarthi. I come here as an Antevasin. He says, I come here as a shisha. I come here as a sishya. Who is a sishya? Who serves the Guru very importantly. Naradam paripapracha tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram Naradam paripapracha Valmikir Munipungavam. This is the first verse of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Pariprashnena sevaya Upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninaha tattvadarshinaha tadvidhi pranipatena Pariprashnena sevaya. A Sishya is one who services the Guru, who takes the Guru as God and who services him, who is at his service very curiously, who wears the hats of curiosity, very curiously waits for the question hour and starts asking questions. Tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. The Mundaka Upanishad talks about tadvijnanartham. If we have to have the true learning, sa gurumeva abhigachet. You have to go to a guru who has realized the Brahman, who has gone deep into his body of knowledge. Shrotriyam is a person who has gone deep in one body of knowledge, in his body of knowledge. Samitpanihi, with all antennas raised, with full sincerity, with a feeling of imbibing things, with mental focus, physical presence, we need to receive. Such a person is called Shishya. Here, Kabir Das beautifully gives a doha. Guru Gobind do khade, kake lagu paye, balihari Guru apne, Govind diyo bataye. Guru Govind do khade. A guru is standing, a teacher is standing, and Lord himself is standing. Whose feet should I touch first? Kake lagu paye. Whose feet should I touch first? Then Govind, God himself says, first go and fall at the Guru's feet. First go and fall at the Guru's feet. Once you fall at Guru's feet, you come and reach me. We need to understand that. Gurus are at the place of the rudder of the cow. The rudder of the cow is very, very important because it gives the milk. So if we need to have the Gnana Kshir, we need to fall at the feet of Gurus. That is why keeping the universal Guru, Krishna, the Supreme Guru, the Gita-charya, as the Guru, Arjuna falls at his feet with all humility. He says, I come here as a Kripana, totally confused, not knowing what is dharma, what is adharma, karpanya dosho pahatasvabhavaha, prichhamitvam dharma sammudha chetaha, yat shreyasyan nischitam bruhitanme, shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prabannam. With this, humility is very important. After this course at about 9:30, after 9:30, Manishankar or one of the volunteers of Vyoma will administer the intellectual humility questionnaire, which we will go with the contemporary management questionnaire first. And as we go along, we will go with Bhagavad-Gita questionnaire to the same traits, characteristics, what we speak. This is Krumrai, Mancuso and Roche have developed this particular questionnaire in 2016. They published this, the development and validation of comprehensive intellectual humility scale. And it was published in the Journal of Personality Assessment. And it talks about the four subsections. We will analyze this questionnaire in the next session. Independence of intellect and ego. We saw about ego some time back. Openness to revising one's viewpoint, whether you are open to revise your viewpoint when somebody talks to you, when somebody gives you inputs. Respect for others' viewpoints, whether you cover yourself or do you have respect for others' viewpoints, and lack of intellectual overconfidence. There are 22 questions. This is the link. This link will be shared to all of you through your emails. So this talks about 4 subscales. The 22 questions here talks about 4 subscales: independence of intellect and ego, openness to revising one's viewpoint, which is very, very important. We need to be flexible. We need to be like water. We have to flow. We cannot be rigid. Respect for others' viewpoints and lack of intellectual overconfidence. Please answer this questionnaire. We will discuss this in the next class, so we will know what is our rating, what is our trait. Now, I request Manishankar to administer a quiz. Bhagavad-Gita is a Yoga Shastra. It only a prayer. It is an Upanishad, or it is only a religious text. So I request you to answer this. Yeah. Can we end this poll? We have 260 people who have responded this poll. Almost, I think, people who are attending, 60% of the people who are attending. Manishankar, can we stop and give the poll analysis? 294 have answered. Should we share the result, Manishankar? "180 have said it's a Yoga Shastra. 3 of you said it's only a prayer. 70 have said it is an Upanishad. And 41 have said it's a religious text. Bhagavad Gita is a universal text. It is not just a religious text. It is basically an extract of the Upanishads. Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha gopalanandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamrutam mahat. It is basically the extract of all the Upanishads, where the Upanishads are the cows and Bhagavad Gita is the milk coming out of the cows. It is not only a prayer. Only 3 of you have said that it is only a prayer. And 180, I'm very happy. We started the last session asking this particular question, telling this, that Bhagavad-Gita is a yoga shastra, that which can be verified. That is why after each chapter, you say Adhyatma Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. So it is a yoga shastra. That is the answer. We go to the next quiz. Bhagavad Gita speaks about era 1 leadership, era 2 leadership, era 3 leadership, and era 4 leadership. Yeah, we can stop the end the poll here. You can give the answer. Just now we have seen that it speaks about era 4 leadership, which talks about the level 5 leadership or humility. We have 66 who have spoken about era 1 leadership. We spoke about this some time back. 33 speak about era 2 leadership. 23 speak about era 3 leadership. 156 have spoken about era 4 leadership. We have 278 replies for this. So Bhagavad Gita definitely starts with the era 4 leadership. It starts with the era 4 leadership. We saw the triangle where Bhagavad Gita is a top-down approach compared to the bottom-up approach of the conventional or the contemporary management. We go to the next quiz. Not able to change the slide. Yeah. Level 5 speaks about the next quiz was level 5. We will stop the poll here. Level 5 leadership speaks about skills, power, humility, and dominance. We are extremely happy that 248 out of 304 who have responded say that it is humility. Very truly, it is humility. Level 5, as per Collins, talks about humility. 37 have responded that it is skills. It is not skills. 10 speak about power. 9 speak about dominance. So it is truly humility, and humility is vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadhyati patratam. Quest for knowledge comes through humility, and gaining knowledge should lead us to humility. Thank you for answering these quizzes. We go to the next thing is what we are... shall we disconnect this question 3? Yeah. Last session, we had just broached into the core of one of the course of this particular course, CORES of this COURSE. That is Netritva model. of self-leadership. We are going to talk about the netritva. This talks about what traits we should all develop. What traits we should all develop. The first trait, the awareness of the non-parallel nature within ourselves. Every leader, every being, every human should realize the non-parallel nature of himself or herself. The second one is equanimity. The third one is tenacious. The fourth one is role model. The fifth one is thinking. The sixth one is ubiquitous. Seventh one is vision. And the eighth one is action. We need to understand that these netritva stands for these 8 qualities which we will have to imbibe if we have to lead ourselves. Generally, there is a question which is asked, how do you lead your life? So leadership should start from the self. Leadership should start from inside. So the first aspect is nurturing the non-parallel nature. Nurturing the non-parallel nature. We have put this as a model, the netritva model of self-leadership. And what is non-parallel nature is what we need to understand. Non-parallel means having no match or equal. It talks about unparalleled. It talks about unparalleled. Bhagavad-Gita talks about each one of us having no equal to our own selves. We are unparalleled. But unfortunately, due to ignorance, we cover this nature of ourselves. And we always say that I am not capable of doing that. Every person is infinitely capable of doing things. We will see how it is. Who are you? And what are you formed of? What is that power inside you which makes you do everything what you want to do? Which makes or transforms impossible to I am possible. Which transforms impossible to I am possible. We will see that particular process in which there is unparallelism within us. There we are unparalleled in nature. The 43rd verse of the 11th chapter, Arjuna, this is the Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, where Arjuna is seeing the cosmic form, where he is seeing the Vishwarupa. There, Arjuna refers to Krishna as Apratima Prabhava. Apratima Prabhava, who is matchless in his greatness, who is incomparable in all his traits. Pitasi lokasya characharasya, tvamasya pujyascha gurur gariyan, natvat samostyabhyadika kutonyaha, lokatraye api apratima prabhava. It says, Pita, Pita asi, Pita asi. You are the Father. Oh, apratima prabhava. He is referring to the Lord. He is referring to the Creator. He is referring to Krishna. He says, you are the Father of all the moving and non-moving. Lokasya, of the entire universe. Chara achara, of both the moving and the non-moving. Chara charasya, asya, of this moving and non-moving. Pujyaha, you are worshipable. Cha, and Guruhu, you are the spiritual master. Gariyan, you are glorious in nature. Not. Tvat samaha, there is nobody equal to you. Nobody abhyadhikaha, greater to you. Who is greater to you? When nobody is equal to you, who can be greater to you? Is what is asked here. Oh, apratima prabhava. That apratima prabhava, lives in all of us. We need to understand apratima prabhava tvam asya characharasya lokasya pita asi. You are the father. You are the guru. You are the teacher of this entire universe. We need to understand. Annayahi, attanahi, alum yampiranumai. Tvameva matacha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Divudyutihi deva. We need to understand apratima prabhava, O apratima prabhava, O matchless one, O incomparable one. You are the father of this entire world of movable and immovables. That means and there is nobody equal to him. In what? In the qualities such as compassion, gnana, bala, aishwarya, virya, shakti, tejas. There is nobody equal to him. And that Lord is in all of us. We need to understand. That is why our soul, our true nature is our soul. That is our true identity. That is unparalleled and unrivaled. The Maharayana Upanishad beautifully tells that Lord is there as the Antaryamin inside all our souls. Dahram, Vipapam, Parameshva Bhutam, Yapundarikam, Puramadhyasgastam, Tatrapi Dahram, Gaganam Vishoka, Tasmin Yadantastadupasitavyam. Located in the center of the city of the body is the subtle lotus of the heart, pure and untainted. To all on this platform, we need to understand that we are absolutely pure and untainted. It is something which is foreign to our true nature, which is the soul, which makes us feel or makes us do all the taintful and unholy activities. That soul is the abode of the Supreme. Meditate on that Supreme Being residing in the inner expanse, the Haram. There is a sky inside all of us in the crevice of the heart that is called as the Dahara Kasha. Like there's an Akasha on top, there's a Dahara Kasha inside. That is Dahram. In that Dahara Kasha, we need to realize upasitavyam, to be contemplated upon. Whom to contemplate? The self which is free from papa, which is free from sins, is vipapam, papa rahitam, nitya shuddham, atmanam. The self that is free from papa and is always pure, the self is vishoka, free from sorrows, free from sadness, that it is always in the sukha swarupa, the very nature of happiness, anandam brahmeti vyajanat, vishoka. Yat pundarikam, inside that pundarika, the lotus of the heart, of the hridaya, hrid pundarike upasitavyam, where? In the lotus of our heart. That is through meditation, puramadhyasakastam. With the pura, which is this body, puramadhyasakastam. Puramadhye samstham means samsthitam or samyaksthitham. That which is self-existent, not dependent upon anything. This is the Atma Tattva which is there. In that Dharam or the Gagana space, which has no distortion whatsoever. Parameshma Bhutam. Yat Pundarikam Parameshva, that Parameshvara who is the Antaryamin in that, Tasmin, with that intellect, which illuminates that intellect, that soul, that self-realization we should get. And that is unparalleled. A leader should understand that what is driving him is not his ego. What is driving him is that pure thing, is that unparalleled thing, is that non-parallel nature of his, which he should manifest. To Rahuguna, Jadabharata, in the 5th skanda of Srimad-Bhagavata, beautifully says, Kshetrajna Atma, Purusha Puranaha, Sakshat Swayam, Jyotihi Ajap Pareshaha, Narayano Bhagavan Vasudevaha, Swamayaya Atmani, Avadhiyamanaha, Kshetrajna. The Atma is the Kshetrajna. He is the Purusha. Sakshat Swayam Jyotihi, he is Swayam Prakasha. This is how your true nature is. To all on this platform, we need to understand that our nature is non-parallel. We need to nurture that non-parallel nature inside us. We will just go with this verse and then concludes today's session. The 15th verse of the 15th chapter. We'll come back to the meaning of this verse in the next session. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha matta smritihi gnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha vedanta kriti veda videva chaham. I am seated in the hearts of all living beings. Please try to understand that the Lord is there inside everybody. We need to understand. And from me comes the memory. If at all you can recollect something, it is because of him. We are only an instrument. Knowledge as well as forgetfulness. I alone am to be known by the Vedas. I am the author of the Vedas and the knower and the meaning of the Vedas. We need to understand in the Purushottama Yoga, the 15th verse, 15th chapter talks about we are instruments and he gives everything to us. With this, we pause today's session. Thank you for all for being a part of this session. And we end this with a Shanti Mantra. Any questions, since we are at 9:32, you can send in your questions and we will be definitely answering all the questions which are related to the subject. Please send in your questions. You can also give your feedbacks so that there can be continuous improvement in terms of this particular course. Thank you for your great response on this Sunday morning. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar. Have a great day. Have a great life. Namaskar.